More time. Let's go ahead and take it on over to John Allen and Blake. We are indeed heading over towards Erangel. We are once more into the grassy pastures, and potentially for one of the very few last times that we'll see it. As well, you've got to remember, it could end all in match 2, which would be our final Erangel, potentially. We will definitely see it again tomorrow, but the question is how many times, because it will be that smash point bubble being set at the end of the day as well, after we hurdle that halfway point. That is what we're going to be looking to do here on match number 9. Split the tournament down the middle. Lane path cuts across the entire thing, Blank. Should be fairly chill.
Yeah, really easy playing path to work with here from the southwest towards the northeast of Kameshki. Most teams don't get where they want to go. Vampire outmatching the layout for Primos. Very chill down for them. APG heading down straight away towards Sosnovka. So slightly less of a road save they need to make than last match. Again, I really do think Alter Ego could make a massive breakout in this lobby. There's just sometimes where I feel like the over-aggression is absolutely there. And it is unnecessary at times. It's hard to disagree with, though, because some of those unnecessary, what I would call unnecessary splits, are what is getting them the most amount of points. I just think it's a fairly inconsistent playstyle. I think that's what it comes down to. It's an inconsistent playstyle, especially at Pmgc.
It seems like they're trying to, I mean, as you said, maximize point scoring, right? Which is generally the goal overall. And that doesn't necessarily mean maximizing chicken dinners. So that could be the approach that they're taking. And as you said, it's paying off in some respects. They're on 48 points right now, still very much in the contest for top spots, towards that top of the tables. Obviously, Alpha 7 streaking out a little bit to rejoin DX Xavier. Ulf as well, catching up. But on this northeast side, or actually further east now, as they head further down towards Prison, towards Lipovka. The Prison Lipovka split drop. They will be getting on with it. And as we said before, right, Rosemary, highest LM count, 19 on the cards, but they are being punished for it. There is a price to be paid for the amount of damage that Rosemary's done to this lobby.
There is, I think it's a very good way to put it, right? It's 4.16, 4.1k damage that he's done. 4.2k if we round up, which we do like rounding up here.
Yes.
But I think for Rosemary, sure he does all that damage, but it really hasn't translated to endgame finishes so far. Which leads me to believe that although that damage is going through, how much of that damage is efficient damage? How much of that damage is successful damage that goes through into one engagement? That is what's worrying for me, for the boys over on Alter Ego.
And as we said, right, he has the most elims in the tournament right now, Blank, but they're dead middle of the pack. And that is that's not really where you want to find yourself on such a performance, especially with plenty of teams looking to try and exceed you, try and go a little bit further beyond. Our circle, we didn't talk about it, and we will continue not to talk about it. It did go west this time around. Gatka Fields, again, are we going to once more be shunted north, up towards the river, or is it going to be a little bit more expected here? I don't expect you to be able to answer that, by the way. That was rhetorical. That was a question for the viewers at home. Put it in the air.
Well, I was actually thinking about it, and that's why I paused, because like, I don't really know how to answer that. That's got me stumped. DRX are fairly central right now. Alter Ego R5. And ain't no one but Rosemary to find that first seed. Again, I want to reiterate I do really like this team, and I think they have a huge amount of potential. So it's a team that frustrates me because I think they can be so much more. There is also a question is whether it's or not that Krypton, Moana, and Alva can't keep up with Rosemary right now. You know, that is another question. Although I think that I can answer that one just off the back of that rondo, where you have Krypton in front, Moana slowly pushing in, and then they have to change that whole game style because Rosemary, out of nowhere, crashes onto Kara, even though they know there are angles on that position. So it means they have to completely change up how they're performing in the middle of that engagement because of Rosemary getting overexcited there. So I think there's just a bit of a disconnect. And it is a hard disconnect because Rosemary is so good at the game. So you as three players, like, are we the problem? I do think there just needs to be a conversation had where they all sit down and they say, hey, yes, you're sick of the game, but we got to play together.
You just got to say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all you got to say. You got to say it loud and make sure that everyone hears it. Get everyone on the same page. I was looking at Regnum Kaya's rotate during that blank. They were all the way over towards Rostock, but they got very, very central. Again, we know that they love to be there, right in the middle of the circle. They really had a tough time in crates on that last match, though. I guess who else is in the middle of this circle with them? Oh, I'll tell you, it's DXavier. They are right there with them too, alongside on that north side of Gatka Fields towards Ruins on that north edge.
And so everyone's bringing up the disparity between the elims and the placement points is pretty wild for DXavier. You're basically flipping the script there when you look at Alpha 7's points in terms of eliminations to placement points. Do you have a Pmgc redemption code again on your screen? It is Pubg x PubGM. So if you're just tuning in now, make sure you get in your game and claim that reward.
Don't want to let that one slip through your fingers. Make sure you're getting all those goodies that we're providing you, as our teams try and get any goodies that the other teams are trying their best not to provide them. That is the main task here on the biggest stage of the year. Marceau can't get the spray down on towards Goat Team, and they will be able to get through as two onto this location. They already lost Killer Joe earlier. That was the classic Rosemary flex out. Of course it was, to be able to get the only elim so far. Adding that one onto his tally. APG just leaving the military island now.
Getting into it. They had a lot of time to work with as well, considering the circle penned in a little bit of the southern side of Arankle, so they didn't have to get moving straight away. It does mean they have to play a little bit more off towards the edge side of the circle here. D7 a bit more of a split. RCB, I think that they are just one big game away from getting in towards the top 5, or even maybe the top 3, if they can really put those points underneath their belt during one game.
Yeah, about 20 points out of that pack, and that's exactly what you need, right? That's a solid chicken dinner, right? 10 elims,
yeah.
Get that chicken dinner.
They are setting themselves up for it every single match as well. It's just been, they've not been able to control the center as well as they'd quite like.
They're kind of like the anti-alter ego in that way, right? Not really going for those big flex outs at the moment, but not trying to sweep through the edge. They're trying to do something, but it's not quite coming through, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, well, they are trying to go for the consistent playstyle.
Yeah.
Sadly, a lot of their rotations have been cut out every single time. And I think it is because this is such a central-orientated lobby right now. You've got DXavier here, which for Regnum Kaya, they've not really had to deal with this team constantly being in the peripheries of them all the time, which must be quite frustrating, always like looking to your left and going, oh, that's DXavier. Our nasty neighbours.
Got a lot of these guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I think for Regnum Kaya, definitely do just need, I think it's rotation 2 that they sort of suck on right now, if I'm honest.
Oh! No, it's happened again!
We're going back up there.
Oh, you can't be doing this twice to the lobby. This is nasty. I mean, it's still cut down the middle by the river, but it keeps a lot of the north side in. It is malicious at this point. Is this circle the new military island circle?
Yeah.
Is that what we're seeing?
I do think this is a bit of a different one from our last, though, where we've cut in a lot more of Everest, a lot more hospital, which means that so many teams need to flow through ruins now. This is a massive funnel for squads at the moment. Very stressful for a lot of teams, and it's going to get messy real quick. Rotation 2 for Regnum Kaya, though.
Oh.
Does it still suck?
We'll have to wait and see, because it might slam straight into this fight that we're on board with. Silas, you can see him just off there in the distance. The Mad Bulls looking to keep hold of the east side of the ruin split. Control that. Meanwhile, on Everest, Vampire sit atop the pack. DRX are playing along that ridgeline too. No knocks sent their way, but so easy has to back off. Oh, that's off in the distance. That's over towards Alter Ego. Fabian, giving them a broadside target on that. That is not during this fight. That is over towards the Roshok Bridge. That branches over that central island on the circle. And the fight at a little bit of a standstill on the top.
Yeah, if I'm going down there, it's a bit odd. I guess that he just jumps out of the vehicle and tries to use that forward momentum flying up from the windshield towards the rest of his team. And it works, right? One of those comedic approaches towards the rest of your squad. They're still going to go further on this, though. Thunder Talk, again, wide wrapping, and they love to do this, right? Try about a billion ribbons in this circle.
Well, they're going to have to give it a go. Thunder Talk, entertaining to watch, I think, is the way to characterize this team. Something that you highlighted during yesterday's games. And they are trying to sweep up on this eastern side. Currently 2 players north of the river. Looks like King and Shing yet to regroup it. To be fair, you don't need to commit to the north at this point, right? You can play on this eastern edge. As long as you're confident that nobody's going to sweep through it, with Team Flash, you know where they are. You played up against them last match on a very similar rotation. I feel like holding the north side of Rostock for Thunder Talk on a 2-2 split might be a solid idea.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all for Thunder Talk. They are fairly split, though, which is a little bit worrisome for the squad. But either way, you are right in the sense that they're controlling a lot of zone. And I think that they understand there's not a lot of teams over on this eastern side. Most teams want to litter themselves across ruins, across Watertown, across Headshot Hills, up towards Box Compound. For Alpha 7, this is a really nice circle for them. It's further towards that north side. And now Thunderhawks can regroup, right? Thunderhawks can head up towards that north side with the rest of the team. Look a little bit prettier on this one. Big chance for the Flash here, but a disgusting approach for everyone on that south side. It is a really, really nasty approach where you are elbow to elbow with so many squads.
Ooh, Regnankaya. They nearly have a little trouble with Ulf, but Lifey able to lay down so much damage. Solus goes down as well, and Ulf are on the ropes here, Blank. One player now left standing. He can't get his head up off the ground either to go for these reses. Finally, the smoke starts to bloom, and maybe they'll start to be able to look for him, but he's still down on his belt buckle, needs to hide for a moment longer. Regnankaya needs to get those reses as well, and there's more threat from the northern side. The mad dash up over the river continues with D+ slamming straight back into Sunken.
Yeah, I mean, D+ just had to reassess this as Mad Bulls immediately move out with force. Very tough stuff for Regnankaya. They got to start checking their other angles as well because they can't fully focus over towards E Arena. It's going to get worse. It's going to get hotter on that bridge soon. D+, 2 down.
Pusher cut across on the swipe, and it's just chips now for D+ to try and stay alive. Not going to connect on that flush, and I think chips, just get out of there, or maybe try and commit for a point, but don't just stand a distance. Don't just look for it like that. An 8 over the top, maybe the last ditch attempt to finding something. Not going to go all the way either. Oh, the point stolen. That goes over to, oh no wait, no, that is still the Mad Bulls. They are still there. A picture though shows Regnankaya trying to go for this river 2-2 split. We've seen them try and do it before, but they're having some trouble on the back there. They're needing to get that pickup going. Ulf now with an 8. Could be nasty. That north point taken out would be disastrous for Regnankaya, but the cook's not quite long enough for Scarface. He's denied that opportunity to get that knock and flush. Now, Wild and Zed Wolf will be the northern answer to that Silas and Loxy south side.
I think Regnankaya, they know they need to make their way across here. They also have to cut sight lines from the arena. I love what they're doing with this as well because they knew they had to take a different approach on this angle. They will have to deal with R8 shortly, who are coming out still from crates. And they will know that, as they had a bad run-in with them last game.
A little bit of trouble for Alpha 7 on the run up towards the GOAT Team Shack, but it will go down. They can take it off in the process. Calming it down now for Regnankaya. As I said during that fight, right, they like playing these 2-2 splits across river positions. Scarface, he's moved on in. They know he's coming, but where is he? He's down in the smoke. Doesn't quite get the knock onto Wild, and that is Ulf down. No elims on this match, Black. The Turkish compatriots not happy with going out so early in that last one.
That's actually very nice for Regnankaya. See how DX Xavier handles this as well as they need to get up towards that north side. We didn't talk about it too much, but I actually love the rotate coming through from Mad Bulls where they got ahead of the players that were inside of Sunken, which actually clears out a huge amount of space for them to play on that central island. It was a smart play from Matt Bulls. And again, massive amount of space been made because of it. Thunder Talk, though, they've been all over the place inside of the circle. Now looking to guard out on that central island. Maybe Matt Bulls were a little bit slow to leave.
Yeah, couldn't quite disengage from the last player of D+, or maybe they didn't want to. They did have a couple of players to pick back up, so slowness may be necessary. R8 pushing up on the western edge. They're going to have to leave this ridgeline, though, Blank. It's not in the next zone. They'll play it as long as possible, but in 10 seconds, they're going to have to start to think about leaving there. Preferably earlier as well. Chip's just about getting out, but he has to shift on 0-2 because the blue zone starts to move.
APG Doc here, looking over towards Fury. Quite low HP, but easy enough to thread those bullets through. Himself a knock there and the flush. Nice to see. That head is peeking over the top side of the rock there.
Oh, okay.
Tony K should know.
That is a block knocker of a shot coming through from Doc. He will be able to take him down behind that rock. Not going to be easy to get Tony K back up now for Vampire. They need to try and hold their number with Alpha 7 beneath them. They really don't have any safe quarter. And they have to just get out of there. Getting away and playing on a 2 might be the best case scenario for them. But Lazarus is drawn short. Out in the open as well. DRX to the north should have eyes on.
I mean, DRX has been playing a little bit more of a slow game this time around. After some very good games yesterday, it's been a little bit more quiet today. APG falls over towards RA, who did make that crossing on the western side. They look to instead completely cut out flowing across RCB.
Do go down on their attempted roll-up. Mad Bulls, a little bit too much pressure on towards them in Alter Ego. The main profiteers of it right now. Alter Ego pretty happy about that. R8's really struggling against APG's lineup here. Top with the Mini 14. A lot of ammo in it as well. And R8, they are up against it right now. Alpha 7 in their way. APG holding their northern rotate. There's no options now for R8. It's win the fight or go down trying.
RA, Prestige, and Murray down. Trying to get him back up again. Nades slowly going past the vehicle. Almost crashes into them. And Murray does not move. I feel like he should have swung slightly to the left-hand side there, knowing the nades were just starting to flow across towards him. Playing Battleship, might have not got it the first time, but they're certainly going to find it sooner or later. Ida takes a chunk too, and I think Murray is just impossible to pick back up now.
I mean, he's just got to try and crawl back, right? That's the name of the game right now. You're probably going to go down, but you might as well try and regroup towards the team. And actually, right now, looking like it might be quite successful, Blank, with DRX rocking up onto the north side of APG. They do have now a fight on 2 fronts. Amory potential to get rezzed. The circle shuts out to this western side as well, which is going to help things. And APG really suffering now against DRX on the north side. Mars gets knocked though, and R8, they were thrown a little bit of a lifeline, but it is getting snatched back as Doc rampages south.
A small lifeline, yes, but not quite enough. As Doc looks to sever those ties. Reefus moving forward, doing incredibly well yesterday and looking to push that slightly further now. All player gets back up, able to hit the tag, has to make the switch now over to Prestige, doing fairly well. Doc is there, and he is the hero.
DRX
boy up.
DRX now up onto that high ground though. They'll have heard all these shots popping off. They'll have seen the knocks coming on through. With APG on their last legs, nades start to get launched forwards by DRX. And out to the open they go. Zedwolf did try and scout out this area, try and get one of those points snuck away, but did fall back in with the Resurrected Kaya.
I mean, for Resurrected Kaya, they do need to regroup soon. For Silas, he is just maintaining control over towards that south side. You do not want to be backfilled on there as you're trying to make that crossover towards the hillside. They could potentially swing all the way towards the west, try and hold out teams coming through like APG and DRX, get involved there. Then you might have a position to play. You can already see Zedwolf swinging out towards that west side now.
Yeah, he was trying to get in there earlier. Decides now's the time to go back. APG rocks up straight on towards him and he immediately regroups away. A beautiful little spray down. A lineup from DRX. And that is going to be them done and dusted. They will go down post. DX Xavier soon to follow. So, our top 9 teams now stand. Alpha 7 still being in is bad news bears, Black, for a lot of this lobby, because Alpha 7 have that compound on the northern side. They have a lot of this game still left to play.
Yeah, the team I was talking about yesterday as well, massively so, was Alpha 7. I really do like this roster. I really do rate it. At the moment, I think Obscure as well as Guizhou are looking fantastic. Revo, Carrillo get to take the foot off the gas sometimes as well, which is a really big deal for that squad because they were doing so much in the past, but now they can pop off when they want to, not when they need to all the time.
Oh, Alter Ego, they're all together at the moment, and it's working out against the Madball. Tulika tries to get back into a position to go for these reses, but they are crawling desperately towards this one. Lemon will go down. Kara up on that high ground may have angles as well towards Madballs, and now they're playing as two, trying to march towards the Alter Ego position, but there's CEO. No, he's jumping in too busy over towards Team Flash, but instead it's the play zone, it's the nade zone coming on through, but Pusher gets one in response. It's Rosemary to go down, and why wouldn't it be? Another one sent on in. Maybe trying to keep himself alive for a little bit longer here, but the blue zone will push ever faster to the third.
I mean, Alter Ego took quite a few knocks in the midst of all of that. Pusher now has to swing through the blue. There's a lot of vehicles. They really do have a lot of vehicles here.
Can they get them out though?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the garage, but it feels like Alter Ego is playing more of a car sim at the moment.
Oh, okay. Finally goes away from Regnakaya, goes away from E-Arena as well on box compound. They've held this for so long, basically since second shift. Probably from first shift, actually. As the nades continue to pour on in overhead from Kara towards Team Flash. They're finding more and more. Tops is now in danger on the back lines, tries to fade one away. Doesn't quite connect on it, but Alter Ego, they're on the rollout now. They do need to make a move, and this seems to be a fairly wise choice. They're going to be able to flush one out at least, but they lose Krypton on this approach. Blank, they are now down to 3, but I don't think it's their old tricks playing catch up to them.
No, I don't think so either. I think they had to make this rotate eventually. And they made the rotate together too. Kara has Overwatch on this. But 9 elims on the game, great for them, 57 points. Like you say though, the sad thing for a lot of the teams in the lobby is that Alpha 7 is about to bridge a massive gap between them and a lot of other teams here, unless they go down soon.
Absolutely. Need to try and take them out as quickly as possible. With only 1 elim going down in 7th, that's not going to put a huge number of points on your tally. But going down in 7th seems fairly unlikely for Alpha 7 right now. Kara, much more likely to be next up off the bat, and they will indeed fall. 4 elims, 7th place. Again, not great. Alter Ego now trying to go for that same descent from the hilltop. They just saw go fairly poorly. Let's see if they have a better chance at it.
I mean, this has to be an incredibly fast rotate, get down the hill here, but it is so open, as it always is with this kind of circle. DRX has nasty shots from along the way, and it's Hyunbin, as always, finding those cruel pincers over towards Alter Ego. Moana absolutely should be going down here. Alter Ego is essentially a 2-man squad right now.
They've got 10 elims already, Blank, again. On this match.
You know what? I would love for DRX to crash Alpha 7 right now. I'm not even joking because they're sort of looking towards Alter Ego. And what other option does DRX have?
That's true, and when Regnakaya starts to get involved as well, that's going to be made harder. I think they're gearing up for it. They're going to go up. Kaixei now, first onto the wall. They're not going all the way in. Hyunbin draws short. Nade sent over towards, not quite going the full distance there. The Molotov to try and find Guizhou, but Hyunbin goes down from a nade for Revo.
A great bounce.
And an immediate flush comes through as well. A good bounce on the nade there. And now DRX are playing on as 3. Alpha 7 not going to take any knocks. A bounce from the roof. From Kaixei doesn't find it either. Carrillo burns out the door frame. They're slowing down this one too.
You're crazy!
Into the fire to try and get the through. He's going to burn out, Blank, but could have got huge value there. It's not to be, and now DRX playing as 2.
Oh, so sad. He bounced it back through the window, by the way. But yeah, DRX down to 2 players, having to do everything right now. But this has taken a lot of attention off the rest of the circles. Regnakaya starts to flow through E-Arena, slicing away at them. Up to 7 elims now. Guizhou looks to step out. But QXZ make the final member. And a hell of a bounce.
The roll-up for Regnakaya to look for the last players of the arena now. 1 down, 2 down, 3 down, 4 man down. the arena. Out of it. Loxy maybe needing to get picked up here, but they can flex out. They've got a little bit of time to play with. Alter Ego sent Alpha straight on in, and Alpha 7 not on the Overwatch. Getting rid of the last play from Vampire. Has he got cover enough to do this?
Alpha has moved through. Again, very well played to him. He's fairly safe here as well, honestly. Alpha 7 are not in nade range. And he's sort of got this little compound to himself made up by the rock and the vehicle.
How many percent did Alpha 7 win this one, though, Black? Last time, it was a much clearer call. Against Regnum Kaya, though, on that south edge, it looks a little bit tougher, but the fact that their compound is just in this zone...
Yeah. It basically, if stage 8 is on top of Alpha 7, then yeah, they should just win. Regnum Kaya have really no way to resolve that position, right? I mean, sure, they have vehicles, but the approach they have to make gives so much time for the guys over on Alpha 7 just to pepper them with bullets. But it is the two storylines converging right now between Regnum Kaya waiting for that big win to set them up towards the top of the tables, and Alpha 7 looking to create a massive buffer between them and everyone else, John.
And Alpha 7 with 4 elims and 3rd place guaranteed. Alter Ego, though, as well. A huge elim counts coming on through.
Nothing else.
Oh yeah, no nades, just 20 smokes.
20 nades.
Oh, brilliant. Maybe a little bit of swapsies right now. Silas feeling the lack of smoke as he tries to get away with it. Steps into the blue zone. The damage a little bit too much to handle. He is not going to get back up there, Flank. Zedwolf has marched forwards and is a lot closer and in the next zone. It's a big split. It's an Alter Ego split, actually, coming through from Regnum Kaya this time, as they take down into 3rd place Alter Ego, who do still get huge elim numbers, 12 on the match.
Right. Stage 8 it is. For Silas, takes a tag. He's trying to get the buggy back out into control there, which is fair enough. Sadly, because he takes a little bit of damage there, it does mean game over for him. And this is where it all gets set up in 3 seconds. Whether it's a surefire Alpha 7 win or a potential for Regnum Kaya. And it looks like a potential. But how the hell does Loxy and Wild get forward? They don't have smokes.
I mean, Wild's in this circle, right? So he doesn't necessarily need to get forward. The fact that Alpha 7 are moving now, I really like this, right?
They have smokes.
They have smokes. Exactly. Exactly. It's those nades, though, like you said. How do you get forwards? It looks like Loxy's managed it, though. He's closer to the circle. Needs to step a tree to the right, though.
I think not having any nades is kind of a big deal here for Alpha 7. And they could try and just demand presence in the zone using vehicles, maybe? That could work. But as soon as Alpha 7 starts getting the nade range, Regnum Kaya has the advantage. What they have to do here is they have to take advantage of the fact that they have players to refrag off the back of. It's one of those games where you play 4v3, then you're playing 3v2, then you're playing 2v1, and that's how you've got to win it out. But letting Zedwolf up to here is crazy. Alpha 7 look to be sweating.
It's brains versus brawn. With the nades in the pocket for Regnum Kaya. I mean, they're staring Wild down, but he is behind a tree in the circle. It's Loxy who's the only one who has to actually move here. And Alpha 7 will have to put themselves forward. The stage 9 circle will close dead center. And at the moment, they don't have the cut on it. They are now expending more smokes to give themselves that smoke train run out. Obscure, waiting for Wild to peek, but he doesn't need to. Zedwolf drawing attention from Guizao. And Alpha 7 still playing it slow, still playing it cautiously. This is what we saw from them last time to close it down. But will it be enough without those nades? Because they only have 6 smokes left now. They are inching forwards.
It's really smart, though, the way they're playing this, because they're trying to angle themselves with these smokes further and further out of nade range. It's really well played.
Oh, Wild can't get too far out from his tree. He knows he's under lock and key. Rebel is there, hop through, but it's not enough. Fancy on the beat, but it is going to still be on target. And a big pickup. Alpha 7's rollout just made all the harder. Info can be gathered, sure, but Zedwolf has the sideswipe. And Black, the smokes have run dry for Alpha 7. That was the last one to be taken out. Well is the answer. And Guizao comes in clutch. Zedwolf, can he find it? Carrier rolls Alter Ego.
It's what's talking about the 3v2. Zedwolf finds one, but that's about it. The blue is at his back. Alpha 7 pick themselves up. They're back to back here in match 3.
What a nerve-wracking finish for them. It was a lot more certain. The north side of that central river, after a Gackerfield shift on the circle, is how Alpha 7 like to play, it turns out. To be honest with you, I think Z-Wolf was the only one playing that game how I would have liked him to. I think Wild, yeah, sure, gets himself into a good spot there, but the fact that the players weren't moving forward, playing in the grass, Z-Wolf had the off angle, but he didn't really have too much support, and there wasn't enough time to divvy up those grenades, so when Z-Wolf moved forward, he only had 2. I think he could have done a lot more if he had more nades in hand. It's just unfortunate that he's the player on that side to make that push.
I mean, a big hit coming through from Grease out as well. Around the edge of that smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Over towards the back line. I think it was Loxy on that angle. Got spotted, got taken down, and they were able to keep it going with a back-to-back chicken dinner. Alpha 7. Do Brazil.
Alpha 7 with the back-to-back chicken dinner 7. Let's hear it one more time.
I think it's time we actually change it up. Max, back to back. I need it from you.
Oh, you really? Maybe that was too much, sorry.
No, that was perfect. That's the right energy. Because Alpha 7 won a performance once again, a very similar circle that we got in the last match as well. But this team, the way that they were able to play that throughout, and I gotta talk about the way that they were able to defend when DRX came their way. The amount of utility and the great usage of utility, Max.
They saw DX's game, right, next to his knife volley on the air, so they're like, that Molotov to block the entry point? Caddy, or maybe he should steal that. And he did, and he worked out amazingly well versus DRX. Such an easy squad wipe in that compound. And look at the spread here. Low elimination game.
Yep.
Rotationally speaking, again, they drop northern side George Pole. They have an easy entry point. You expect Alpha 7 to deliver, and they do it twice in a row.
And even better use of utility, especially towards the late game, towards that ending right there. Because at one point, you were telling me they decided to throw a smoke. I was like, why is Alpha 7 not using their smokes quite yet? They threw one as a decoy, making sure that the regular player thought that they were going to be going that way. And then we started seeing Alpha 7 just putting down an insane wall of smokes and working that perfectly. One thing that I do, if I had to nitpick here for Alpha 7, was Rebel's rotation, trying to go for the off angle. He ended up getting a little bit carried away, got him too close to the sun, and he did because he got within the nades.
I think he was hoping the regular Kari after fighting so many times just to get there without a utility. Wild had 7 grenades. He was stacked up. Okay, he was the red zone if there was one in esports settings, but unfortunately, he was not able to quite get as many eliminations as he hoped for, and it is going to be Alpha 7 to get themselves the win. Don't go through the recap of this game. Very similar rotation, right, when it comes to this circle, because it was in a very, very similar area to the first rank of the day. And Alter Ego, man, their defense on that garage spot, I mean, this game in particular, 7, the garage is so hard to hold on to because you only have a few positions you can actually check it out. You've got the entrance to the garage and the back door. And they were able, thanks to Arena actually, working with them to eliminate all of Madpool's on that push.
Yeah, I gotta give props to Alter Ego, the way, not just that they played this match, the way that they have been playing today. Huge props to Rosemary because Rosemary has been able to get the eliminations there for the squad. Yes, we've been pointing out how there's certain mistakes here and there for this squad. But remember, at the beginning of the day, this squad was just barely sitting in 12th place with 26 points. They needed to make sure they do those crazy plays. They needed to make sure in a way that they went for broke and got all of those DLMs possible.
As we take a look here at the rotation graphic, Max, we definitely had some nice ones.
Oh, I mean, Alter Ego, again, making it so far in the circle, just not favoring them. The opposite of D-Saver compared to Day 1, right? They're doing these big moves, going on. Actually, I really like how here in the early game, they go for Potato Hill.
Yes.
Really good vantage point, high ground, getting a lot of information. They know school, apartment, Rozok is going to be free because Regnan and Kara typically like to move away from that position relatively quickly in these matches. And here, the garage, all these teams trying to make the crossover, like your Deep Xavier, your Mad Bulls. I mean, no chance in hell here, 7, they make it out alive. And in this case, they didn't.
Yeah, in this case, they waited for the right time to actually make their push. Because as you mentioned, the arena was there. And at one point, I want you to look at Regnum. Regnum is going to start pushing out more towards the west. As soon as it was much earlier. They ended up pushing out towards the west because the arena decided to send it to them. Good adjustments there from Regnum Karya. And Regnum Karya ends up with the most points for that match.
I mean, Alpha 7 in third is pretty crazy there. You got Alter Vigo with 17 points, and then a big drop-off from 3rd to 4th, Max.
Very top-heavy for the podium. 16 points Alpha 7, Ultra Ego, 17 points, 19 points, Regnum Kari. I mean, they were defending their position so well. And actually, I don't think you talked about it yet here, Seven. Looking at Regnum Kari, they play on the water side, that big flex out to the west. I think it was Wild doing that in particular. The amount of information that Play Alone gives them is just second to none.
Even if I send it earlier into the match, that we're doing a 2-1-1 split with Seawolf further to the north and just scouting around and making sure that they got as much control or as much information as possible. Even if you did get into the later of the match, the eliminations were not there, and that's something that we have to point out about Alpha 7. 51 eliminations for this squad, follow on with those placement points.
I gotta bring up something. I'm sorry, Regnum Kari, Vikroni in 3rd position. Korean team right behind him. They're like, oh no, it's not D+, but it's still a Korean team.
Well, let's take it to a quick break, guys. Don't